He's almost as big as me. He's not that shorter.
already tried. No, that's okay. I don't mind.
I don't want that being on record.
So we're getting Daryl set up over here. Daryl's gonna be doing the live video in here for me. We're gonna be asking, y'all can ask me some questions. I'm gonna start off first, do a little bit of talking, and then I'll stop and I'll let y'all know when you can ask me some questions, and I'll try to give you the best answer that I can, based on what little bit of knowledge that I do have.
And that's very little.
It's very little. I don't have a lot of knowledge.
Maybe one will help you.
Well, I'll
See? What's the name? See?
Okay, guys, let's start off with this.
Program. What?
Okay. The first thing I wanted to talk to everybody about, and I think we're probably all on the same page about this, is a simple life. Is there anybody here who doesn't want to live a simple life? If you don't want to live a simple life, raise your hand.
74?
How many people here want to be able to live off the land and not have to go fight the rat race of a job every day? Okay, so pretty much everybody in here raise their hand for that. How many of you in here believe that you could make that happen? Okay, probably half of the ones that raise their hand. Let me say this, the number one reason is the reason people cannot do that is debt. Debt is the biggest crippler of mankind. It was never intended by God for man to be in debt. As a matter of fact, the scriptures has more to say about being in debt than it does, or money, let me say about money, than it does about salvation. So God thought enough of it that He put a lot in there about it. Now, I can sit here and go over and over and over and quote verse after verse after verse. You know, the borrower is servant to the lender, you know, all this kind of stuff. And even in the blessings of obedience spoken of in Deuteronomy, the Bible says that if a man is a blessed man, he lives a blessed life, he will be a lender, not a borrower. That's how I know that our country today is not under God's hand. It's because our country today, at one point, was over $900 billion in debt in just one country. Now we're up to $21 trillion in debt. Now, if you go back and read right beside the blessings of obedience in Deuteronomy, there's also a section that follows that. It's called the curses of disobedience that follows right behind that. And one of them is the curses of disobedience is you will be in debt. You will be a borrower, not a lender. So we live in a country that's already under the gun, I guess you might say, as far as being in oppression. Because in this country today, the Bible says we don't wrestle against flesh and blood. Most of what we're wrestling against today is powers and rulers of darkness and all these kind of things. That's what's hindering us as homesteaders today. Because what I've come to the realization of today is in the homesteading lifestyle, and Wanda and I talked about this when we first started Deep South Homestead, I ran 3 successful companies. And one of the main things I learned in business was you don't ever talk about religion and you don't ever talk about politics. Those are 2 of the things that will destroy you if you own businesses. We got ready to do YouTube. I told Wanda, I said, look, this is just going to be a business. This is a business venture for me. And I've talked to several different people in the YouTube channel, Big Family Homestead, and all that. And I've talked to all these people around, and they told me, said, you know, you got to do this, you got to do that. I told them, I said, just get out of the way. I know how to build companies. You know? I said, I'll show you how to make this happen. It's been a year and a half for Wanda and I. We're up to 24,000 subscribers. Is it because of us? No. It has nothing to do with me. It's because I lean on a higher power. I lean on the Father. The Father is the one who builds my YouTube channel, not me. Any wisdom I have comes from Him. It doesn't come from me. Now, I've had experiences in life I've learned things in life. Some of them just through being hard-headed, I'll just be honest with you. Some of them's been through hard knocks. And it's not been a fun road to walk. I had a young guy at the house here a while back from Mexico doing some whooping for me. And he said, Mr. Danny, I want to be just like you. You know, and I told him, I said, no, you don't. Let me just be honest with you. No, you don't. He said, yeah. He said, when you walk into a room, he said, people respect you. He said, I've been places with you. When people walk up to you, you just demand respect. And I told him, I said, son, let me tell you something. These kind of things in life does not come easy. And he told me, he said, but I'm telling you, I want to be just like you. And the whole time I was talking to him, I was reaching over, putting my hands on his shoulder. And I told him, I said, are you sure this is what you want? And he says, I want it more than life itself. But when he did, I slammed his face in the dirt. I threw him face first into the dirt. And when his face hit the dirt, I said, get up! And he jumped. He was just sitting there freaking. I said, now that's how I was raised. I said, do you want to live that kind of lifestyle? I said, because that, my friend, is what makes you or breaks you. You either come out of there, or you're either made or you're broken. And I told him, I said, so I don't want to do that to you. I would rather take the time and teach you the things in life, the shortcuts, to save you from having to make all those mistakes. Because if I can do that, then you will be a success a lot faster than I was a success. And he understood that, and ended up turning out being a great worker. You know, ended up doing a real good job for me. But I say all that to say this: homesteading lifestyle, I think, is a fad today more than anything else. So many people get into it, and they tell themselves, I want to do this homesteading thing, and they try to start off with too much on too small of an area, and they don't succeed at it, and they have a burnout. And that's, look, it's okay. In homesteading, I have to watch these cameras. I'm constantly watching cameras. And Daryl's live over here, this one's live over here. I went through this at the conference trying to explain to people about cameras being on me all the time. But I told them, I said, look, being a homesteader is not an easy lifestyle. It's a lifestyle that takes dedication. It takes hard work. It's a 24-hour-a-day job. It's not something that just happens. And people go, and that's the reason I ask you, how many of y'all want to live a simple life? You know, everybody wants to live a simple life. But let me tell you something. Homesteading is not a simple life. It's a life of dedication. It's a life of hard work. It's a life that literally demands your attention 24 hours a day. If you have animals, those animals have to be put up every day. You have to water those animals. You have to feed those animals. As far as taking vacations and doing stuff like that, it's almost non-existent. I mean, I'm surprised y'all may be here today. Because I told Wanda, I said, we do this event. I said, they probably won't nobody even be able to show up because we're all busy on homesteads. But after talking to several ones of you here, a lot of people have made provisions to be able to be gone for a day. That's the reason I told her, I said, just make it between this time and this time so that they have time to do something in the morning, they have time to go home and do something in the evening if they don't live too far away. For those of you who like to be Lady and Mark, who come from a long way, and Paul and Brenda, and all y'all that, and Tommy, all y'all that come from long ways away, thank y'all. Two family drove off. Brother, I don't even know why I was thinking about that. You know, I mean, thank y'all. Because all of y'all are always telling us what a blessing we are to y'all. Let me tell you something. Standing here today, looking out at the people that's in this room, it's a blessing to us. And
I second that.
And Wanda, I'm sure will second that, because, you know, we literally, I don't know if there's actually a word to describe it. We're floored, you know, we're honored. These are words that I know have very little meaning to them. We're ecstatic. In fact, we have people that actually think enough to come out to an event like this today. It's just nothing more than the fulfillment of our dream in the beginning. Our dream in the beginning was to create a community of people, of like-minded people, people who can come together and can all sit around and talk in harmony and in unity about the same thing, and the person that you're talking to gets it. Because so many of us, in our lifestyles, we sit back and the people that we're surrounded by, they don't get what we're doing. They look at us like we're some kind of left arm or something other, or third arm, or whatever you want to call it. You know, they look at, what is wrong with you? You can just go to the store and get this, or you can just do this, or you can do that. They don't get it. But this room today is full of people who gets it. And I'm thankful for that. I really am. And this person doesn't know I'm going to do this, but there's one person in this room here today who made a comment to me probably 2 to 3 years ago, and I don't even know if they remember the comment, but it was one of the biggest inspirations about me even succeeding in this YouTube channel. This person showed up at my house and made the comment to me. They said, "Brother, one day you're going to minister to a lot of people." That person's Brother Jeff sitting right here.
Amen. I remember it.
He showed up at my house and he says, "All I want to do is just be a part of it." You know? And Jeff and I have talked on and off, and he's built a cellar now. He's got him a well drilling thing. He's put him a well in the bottom of his cellar. He's done all these things. He has succeeded at what he's doing. But things like, comments like that was made to us years ago is what's pushed and caused us to push. Now, when he told me that, I didn't do YouTube. I didn't have a clue about YouTube.
We laughed, actually.
We laughed.
I wasn't sure you were gonna make it 3 months.
Yeah.
You're in a hole.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and I told Wanda, I said, "What's this thing about I'm going to minister to all these people out there in the world?" He said God gave him a vision or something, or showed him, or spoke to him about that. And he just showed up at my house. He said, "I was driving down the road and God told me, turn down this driveway." And he came to my house and he told me that. And today, I now minister. We have been doing YouTube for 1.5 years, if I'm not mistaken. A little over
Almost
2
2 years.
Almost 2 years now. A couple months we've been doing it 2 years. 3 years?
No, 3 million views.
Over 3 million views in that length of time. And every time I do a live stream or every time I do a video, I mention our Father in it somewhere, so that I can at least, when I stand before the judgment, I can't have that person look at me and say, "You never told me." I mention something about the Father in every video that I do. And it's a ministry for Wanda now. We started it as a ministry. Now, is it something that we try to take the glory for? No. Wanda and I are more or less the kind of people that like to stay in the background. Because I've told y'all in the videos, if it was left up to me, I'm a quiet, backwoods kind of person. I wouldn't even, if my daughter was still standing here today, she'd tell you, "I can't believe my dad has done this." Because my dad I've lived in the woods for 15 years. You know, I'm that kind of person. You know, I'm in the background. I'm never out in the limelight in front of anybody. And I've been a public speaker my whole life. As y'all told y'all in the videos, at 12 years old, I was speaking to 500 people about disassembling engines and putting them back together at a major university. So speaking is not a problem for me. But I don't do this to just be heard. I've learned a lot of things in life. I've learned a lot of hard lessons. And the reason we do YouTube, number one, is to edify and glorify my Father. Number two, is people like y'all who struggle along with some of the problems that you might have on your homestead. Maybe there's something that I'm doing on my homestead that you can see and you go, and a little light bulb goes off and you go, "Oh, wow. If I do that, maybe it'll work for me." Now, I realize we're all in different climates. And I tell people on the channel, look, what I'm doing here may not work for you where you're at. Because one of the biggest things that I learned, the dirt patch was at the house, was we did the north versus the south. And she would talk about, they buy their feed for a year in advance and just keep it stored. I told him, I said, you can't do that here. She said, well, why not? I told her, I said, because first of all, I said, it's gonna mold. I said, weevils and, insects, all this kind of stuff is gonna get in there. And she goes, well, we don't have that kind of problem. Because there's no humidity where I am. We can buy our feed a year in advance. She said, matter of fact, I have feed still from the year before. I told her, I said, well, you can't do that here. And we went on, if y'all watch the videos, we went on and discussed a lot of different things that was different between being in a northern climate, being in a western climate, being in an arid climate, being in a humid climate. There's lots of different aspects. And each homestead, wherever you're located, has its own problems. A lot of people go, oh my gosh, I would never live down south where you live at with all those hurricanes coming in. And I told them, I said, well, that's fine. I wouldn't live where I couldn't get outside because it snowed all the I told them, I said, I would whole lot rather be in an underground cellar and the storm's gone in 12 to 15 hours, it's all over with, and we may have a little cleanup to do. I said, but if it starts snowing in November and it's not gone until next May, I'll swap with you. Yeah. I'm gonna stay where I'm at because I've actually worked up there during that. But and I've had people out west, they look at me and go, well, I just don't know if I would live where you're living. And I said, well, look at it. You got tornadoes coming through Kansas and Oklahoma all the time, just destroying things left and right. I said, the West Coast has got earthquakes happening all the time. They got the fires after the Santa Ana winds coming in, all these kind of things. I said, every place in the United States has some sort of an issue. It's called adapting. It's like the military. You go in, you assess a situation. You overcome and then you adapt. That's what homesteading is all about. Now, we always like to try to help out as many people as we can. And today is the day that I'm going to help somebody. And it's Sarah. Sarah right here has a YouTube channel. Come here, sweetheart. Has a YouTube channel. She's trying to get off the ground. She's trying to get going. She is doing her best. That's called, can you tell them what it's called?
Future Dreams to Reality.
Future Dreams to Reality. Guys, this is why Wanda and I do YouTube. The younger generation, we want them to come up because, look, to be honest with you, all it takes is one generation and it's lost. But when we see young people like this coming along and they're following in the footsteps of someone who's trying to teach, it's an encouragement to us. Now, she has a YouTube channel, and all of y'all that's watching us out here today live streaming, go sub to her. What?
Send her over.
Okay. Tell them what you do on your YouTube channel.
Well, all I really do is I show basically day-to-day things. I show how I garden. I try and do tutorials on anything and everything I think will help someone. I try and do cooking videos as much as I can because a lot of people somehow don't know how to cook. And I want to help anybody and everybody I can, so I try and hit all these different horizons just to kind of help everyone that I can.
And what we want you to do is before, I want you to give Daryl your link to your YouTube channel so that we can put this at the bottom so that people can actually go over after they come and watch this afterwards and go over to your channel and watch it. So sweetheart, it's people like you that we love.
Daniel,
Thank you.
ask her what she's going to school for.
What are you going to school for?
I am going to trade school to learn welding.
All right, guys, this is why we do YouTube right here, because this right here brings joy to our heart. To see the younger generation coming along behind us, actually trying to keep the homesteading skills going, because it is dying out in this country. We are, believe it or not, we're a dying breed. And I know that sounds hard to say because we're a whole room full of people that are like-minded. But you look at how many people are in this room right now and the diversity of where we're at in the United States, and think about how many people around you do not do what you do. you're like one in a group where you're at, in a neighborhood, and the chances are most of your neighbors look at you like you're off the wall. You know, and it's the same way where Wanda and I live. Now, Wanda and I have a few people around us who do try to do homesteading, but they're not there by mistake because God put them there. And wherever you're at, God put you there also to be an inspiration for people around you. Because I'm going to tell you guys something. There's some things I can say, some things I can't say. But one thing I can say is that things is about to change in this country. There's some major changes coming. And it's people like you guys sitting in this room here that's going to be the ones that's going to make the difference. Now, I'm not to say that we won't suffer some form of persecution because we might by our government. I don't know. It just depends on how things